Hello? There it is. I'm back. It's me. I'm wearing my protective glasses this time. These protect my eyes from blue screen radiation. I got little snacks right here because I be snacking. Uh, some lemon bread and some chocolate chip cookies. Oh, that's my suit back there too. Don't mind the background. It's basically the same as last time. But today I'm gonna touch on a different issue, still related to the black community and what's going on in the black community. I wanted to touch on how people see each other and how appearance is very important. I had me a discussion with a woman in my age recently, and she was conveying to me that she didn't believe that it was fair that there were people who judge based off of appearance and how they look and how they dress and how they, physical things that's on their body and what they decide to wear. Uh, I believe to a degree that has some merit. That's true to a degree. We shouldn't be very shallow about people's appearance and using just their appearance to judge their entire character. That is not wrong. I mean, that is not right. That is shallow and that is wrong. But the vein of what we were talking about is more so according to women's dress, how people dress. And it's kind of dark in here. I'm kind of looking around. It's kind of dark in here. I'm opening this blinds real quick. There we go. Yeah, so it was more on the topic of people's dress. And she was telling me, my face kind of broke out a little bit since last time. So she was kind of telling me that she didn't think it was fair that, if you saw a woman who looked, exposed, like a prostitute or something like that, that she didn't think it was fair that someone could see her and then go, you know, that's a prostitute. Or I'm not going to talk to her, or I'm not going to, or they form an opinion based off of what they see. And I think that's stupid, but I'm going to explain it just in case there are people out there who think this and they genuinely don't understand why this process happens. Not just for men, but for men and women. People have been identifying things about other humans for a long time based off solely off of appearance anyway, at least for the first impression, right? So you see a person depending on how they, because they chose what to put on, right? So if they present themselves in this way, this is what they chose to look like today. They know what they're getting into and what their appearance might uh, get, like what reaction it may garner or get from another person who's witnessing, who's watching them, sees them. So, for example, we use this very simple human brain mechanic in everyday life when it comes to institutions, right? You are There's a premise set up that you have the ability to identify things and associate certain characteristics with certain appearances as a human being, enable for you to function in society. A fucking nurse or a doctor or something, they wear specific garments that make them that it fits their profession and everyone knows that's what a nurse will wear. Or that's what someone who works in the medical field would wear in general, some scrubs. It's got a green mint color or it's white or whatever. They got some fucking head scarf or head thing on, some gloves, a little surgical mask. You see that stuff, you say, oh, doctor, nurse, medical profession. You see a dude in dark blue or navy blue pants and shirt. It got straps and stars and shit on it. He has a utility belt on. He got a cap on. It's a badge on his right or left chest. That's a police officer, right? So this is obvious stuff. We use the same mechanics when we interact with regular people, though. The reason we do this is because it's a way of threat assessment and it's a way of managing interactions with people because we all know what we like and who we want to interact with. And it's better to quickly identify people who are like you and who are not like you when you're out in the world so you know where you want to be and who you want to talk to, who you're comfortable approaching and being approached by, right? So if you are comfortable with only other intellectuals, let's say you're very intellectual, and you're only comfortable with other intellectual people really being in your space, and you're not really trying to talk to no like hillbillies or something like that. You're not looking for that kind of company. You're looking for other intellectuals. What you're gonna do is you're gonna look for them based off some telltale signs that really don't require too much communication at first, just to gauge if they're your kind of people, and that you should even approach them. You're gonna go to the spaces where they would be, right? So if they're in the library or at a fancy dinner spot where it's like real quiet and there's like jazz music playing, or I mean, or violins, instrumentals playing, and it's like a classy club or some shit like that, or maybe they're at a like a museum or a spot where you can go like bird watching or sightseeing. You look in these kind of places for people, and then you look at how they dress, and you look at how they present themselves and how they move through the world, and you're like, okay, I think they might be intellectual. Let me go try talk to them. Right? That's what you do that for. But she was complaining that the judgment part is wrong or it's not right. But that's incorrect because that's part of the threat assessment, right? So if you see someone who is, for example, for her example, in her specific case, she was talking about women. So if you see a woman who is wearing some shorts where you can see a cup of her ass, she's wearing some things, some shirt or chest, fucking crop top or something, where you can make out most of her chest, all her arms out, all her stomach is out, all her from like the thighs down is out. She wearing some fucking flip flops. None of her clothes hold her shape. Everything is jiggling around everywhere. She got some makeup on. Her hair look kind of like whatever, but it's kind of done, but it's kind of not. Then you gonna make an assessment. You gonna be like, either she just like escaped from a house or some shit, or like something crazy is going on, or she's a sex worker or something like that. Like something's crazy going on. But the obvious thing, I mean, that's just to be nice and throw in some, some possibilities. But the general assessment will be she's most likely a sex worker, or she's a streetwalker. Now, when you see a person like that, you know how to engage with them if you choose to engage with them at all. You know what to expect of them, and you already get the gist of what kind of interactions you can have with that person based off of how they look. Right. She was saying this is wrong and it's not right because what if a girl just want to wear those type of things? Well, what I'm saying is if a girl just want to wear those type of things, she is more synonymous either way it goes. She's more synonymous with that kind of person than not, right? So let's just say she doesn't identify as a sex worker or identify outwardly and overtly as a person like that in that kind of lifestyle and that kind of profession, but she dressed like one. Okay, well now, solely because of how you behave and how you chose to dress, you are more associating yourself with those kind of people than not. And that's the decision that you made. So I don't know you. I'm just seeing you for the first time. So I'm going to use my reserve information banks that I have from life experience and shit. And I'm going to see you and I'm going to make that correlation. You look like them. So, and I don't know you. So this is what's going to happen. If you don't want that to happen, don't look like them. Like, it's very, very simple. She did not want to grasp this, and she wanted to like be mad about it and blah blah blah. But I'm telling everybody on the internet right now, being mad about some shit like that is pretty stupid. It is not wrong to use threat assessment and you know skills of observation. Just seeing somebody for the first time, like, there's nothing wrong with that. So if anybody is having like this discussion, or they confused about this, or they have a perspective, if you have a perspective more similar to that girl's, where she's like, that's wrong or whatever, nah, you can keep that perspective. There's nothing wrong with that. You keep it. I'm not telling you what to believe, but I'm just telling you what makes sense. Right? The logical thing, the more sensible thing is we're assuming we're in a situation where there's two complete strangers interacting with one another. If you're in any other situation where you're interacting with a complete stranger and they You've never spoken to them and whatever, and you're just seeing them from a distance for the very first time, and they're wearing a bunch of weird shit. Like, let's say they got like chains hanging off their ankles and a big ass hoodie on that drapes down to their kneecaps. It's like a fucking cloak, and they carrying a staff, and they got a big ass unkept beard, some fucking shimmering pants on, and a Barbie doll shirt. They're not dirty though. They don't stink. They're not homeless. They're not dirty. But they're wearing all this weird shit. You're gonna make an assumption just off of your threat assessment, observation skills. That man is doing some strange things. He's not like everybody else. That's the friendliest and the quickest observation you can make about somebody like that after you see them for the first time. These skills cannot be you cannot divvy up and chop up these skills and have them only apply to certain situations because one situation might hurt your feelings and another is normal. No, they apply to all situations. All situations. Whether that's institutionalized appearances or people who wear certain things because they come from a certain institution, like a police officer or something like that, or a slut walking the streets, or a man with fucking chains in his ankles and a staff and a cloak that you see on the subway. All of these things will be judged through the same system and filtered through the same system. So if you're really worried about people perceiving you a certain way, you need to put in the effort to not be perceived that way. It's much less effort on your part to make yourself not be perceived in a certain way that you don't want to be perceived as by changing your clothes or your appearance than it is for you to be mad and sad and protest about trying to change the way the human mind works on how we perceive completely brand new individuals entering our space or that we encounter. Because that's the only those are only two roads here. The one road is you understand the logic behind the threat assessment and observational skills, and you if you don't want to be perceived a certain way, then you don't dress and you don't do things that would make you get perceived in that way that you don't want to be perceived as. So if you don't want to be perceived as a slut, don't dress as a slut. It's very simple. The other hand is people should not judge based off what they see or what they observe in because of their while they're encountering complete strangers, and they should just leave everything up to more intimate details like this. So basically, don't think nothing, no threat assessments, no observation, no nothing. It's just everybody's kind of just existing in this fog until you talk to them directly and get specific information. That's not gonna happen. This thing I'm talking about over here, the threat assessment, all this stuff, this is human evolution. We've been doing this for a long time. It's human. It's human pattern. It's not taught by modern society. It's not socially programmed new behavior. This is something that we've been doing for a long time, even in regards to things that are not people. Right? This is how we got by in nature. After you had an experience or you got some knowledge about something in nature, you identified it based off the appearance of it. So you associate the appearance with that stored knowledge. Now you know how to approach this or not to approach the situation. It's very simple. It's a shame that I have to explain this or that this video has to exist. Someone smart might say it doesn't have to exist. Nobody asked you to explain it. Well, it does have to exist because this is a genuine problem that a lot of people are having in my community, not my community, but black people are having, specifically black women. They could all just be very well at feigning ignorance, but I also do genuinely believe there are some who do not know why this happens and why skills of observation on this level, on this like passive level, are active and are used by everybody. And that's why you get certain reactions when you see certain people. So I think some people genuinely don't understand why that's happening. So I'm explaining it here. I'm not sure what I'll title this video. Maybe I'll title it Voicing Concerns. Yeah, maybe Black Man Voicing Concerns. Concern, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out later. But I'll make another video after this. I'm gonna try to do all my videos in like 3-part series. The other video is gonna be about more about visual representation and things in the Black community, but different than this specific topic. I'll see you in the next video.